Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. All right, Martin Falls here, Going Public. We are with the CPRA chairman, Mr. Gordon Dove. He's filled many shoes over the years, state rep, CPRA. He was on that committee for a while. Now he's in charge of that committee. He was a parish president. So he is here on Going Public to talk mainly about the Louisiana coastline. We'll focus in on our area because mainly in our viewing area, he's going to talk about that. But welcome aboard, Mr. Dove. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me, Martin.
All right. I knew you all had presented and put together a slide presentation. I want to thank Debbie Ortego for that. She worked hard on this. But there's a lot of things going on that need to be done, especially with this storm out in the Gulf right now heading towards Florida. They are unprotected. Proof positive that what we did here in this area is a big amen.
Well, Martin, we have 80 miles of levees at 12 feet, and we have some of the portions of those levees at 15 feet now, thanks to the Terrebonne Levee District Levee Board and Tony Alford and Angela Raines, or Angela Hidalgo now. Mm-hmm. And of course, Reggie Dupre retired, but then we thank him for his services. And so we're very well protected, and it showed it on the last hurricane. As you know, they had 9 to 11 foot of water that came in on the tidal surge, and not one reported home in Terrebonne Parish flooding.
And I guess the big part of this today is that storm going to Florida, they have no rocks to break the surge. We are developing, through you and the CPRA, rocks to break the surge. When you get a 15-foot surge like they will have in Florida, you need something to break that surge, or else the fighting chance is slim to none.
Well, more like the old saying goes, you break the back of the hurricane at the Barrier Island. Then the marshes knock it down, and then the levees protect you. Mm-hmm. And so we're concentrating heavily on the Barrier Islands, though with segmented breakwater rocks. Though we're still doing marsh recreation and the other things of it necessary. Now, under the Jeff Landry administration, we're going to get it more involved in drainage, pump stations, along with Barrier Islands, and also marsh recreation and levees and floodgates. So with this, I'm just bringing this up. We're in the middle with the Corps of Engineers on the Lower Mississippi River Comprehensive Management Study. It's a quite long study for 5 years. And it is paid for by the Corps of Engineers because I don't pay for studies.
You hate studies.
I don't do studies, but they're doing this on looking at the future, the 100-year future of the Mississippi River as it relates to Louisiana. So it is a very good study, and a picture on here is of us at the Old River Structure with Governor Landry and Colonel Jones and others.
Yeah, and he's bought into this. The governor.
He's very active in it, and we, I welcome his participation and his leadership. The Nichols Coastal Center is 40,000 square foot at Nichols State. $20 million that was funded by the state of Louisiana. The CPRA will have 5,000 square foot of offices that we're actually building out right now for about $1.5 million, and that's to move and everything. So we will have a presence in Nichols State University working with Nichols, and I want to thank the Chancellor, Jay Clune, and them for working with us so well. We actually have an office over there right now in the IO building.
And that's a good identity, right? It's perfect for them.
This should be by the end of the year. In 2006, this is very important. The Louisiana legislature, I was in the legislature after Katrina Rita, and the Louisiana legislature enacted a comprehensive residential and commercial building code aligned with the International Building Code. And this law mandates that all structures north of the intercoastal be designed to withstand sustained winds of 140 miles an hour, while south of the intercoastal must be built to endure winds of 150 miles an hour. The legislation also introduced numerous other structural codes and requirements for buildings and houses throughout Louisiana. Now, we took a lot of heat for this because the cost of construction went up with it. But Ida really showed it worked, and so did Rita. Excuse me, it was after Rita and Katrina. So Gustav and Ike, Barry, we had 5 storms and with 2 hurricanes and 3 tropical storms in 20, and of course Ida in 21, and here lately Francine. So we did this legislation back then, and that's why you see a lot of houses not harmed, where your older structures may have, but the new building codes is pretty good.
Let's do this. We'll take our break now. We're going to come back. We'll add this time to the second segment so we can let them get into the meat and potatoes of it all. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights.
All right, we are back going public here. I'm with the CPRA Chairman, Gordon Dove. We're talking about our coastline. And let's go to some slides, Gordon, because I know you have a lot to deliver here.
Hey, Martin, what I'd like to start with is explaining to the public the islands in Terrebonne and on the west side of Lafourche is Trinity, East Timbalaya, East Timbalaya Island, West Bell Pass, and Wine Island, and East Timbalaya Island, Trinity, Whiskey, and Raccoon. And in 2019 and 20, we did some work on Timbalaya Island and East Island and West Bell Pass and in Trinity Island of about $160 million, which was kind of like a Band-Aid, but till we can get to them. So with that, I want to go to Raccoon Island. This island hasn't been touched since 2000, except they did do a little rock. But this is Raccoon Island in 2015. And as we flip them, Raccoon Island in 2019, 2020. This is 2020 is after Barry hit. You see how it kind of ate up the sand?
Yeah.
Then look at 22, it started rebuilding itself. And then if you look at 23, it rebuilt itself.
Because of the segmented breakwater
Because of the segmented breakwater rocks are self-sustaining. That's what sells me on rocks. This is a great example. And then we look at the next one, Whiskey Island. And Whiskey Island, that was a $110 million project. And that was done in 17. And after Barry, look at it, 2019, you can see it was a lot of the sand washed away. Now, we requested to put rocks on there and was refused by CPRA at the time. They wasn't moving much to rocks at that time, so I did submit to do it. And in 23, you can see it here. Now, the next slide, this is what we submitted to put rocks on it, and that was in 2000 when they did it in 17, and of course we plan to do that. Here's Trinity Island. This is part of that program in 2019 that I moved forward with. We put about 4 million cubic yards on Trinity, and built up part of the island. And the restoration of the island is going to cost you more than that, but we had to do something to sustain it till we can get to it. So the next slide shows the bulldozers, and this sand is coming out of Ship Shoal. This portion of it was about $60 million. And then if you keep going, we go to Wine Island. Now we have just awarded the engineering for construction. We are going to rebuild Wine Island. That is right where the Houma Navigation Canal is, to the west of the Houma Navigation Canal. You can see in 19, there's really hardly no island left. And then if you look at 2023 and 2024, it's very little. This is a huge restoration project, about $200 million. We just moved into the engineering phase of it. You'll see some boats out there surveying. Mm-hmm. We have to rebuild this. If we have to stop the Gulf from the Gulf is now in Terrebonne Bay. So restoration of Wine Island is ongoing. It's being run through the Terrebonne Levee District, but it's funded by CPRA 100%, engineering and construction. That'll probably be about a $250 million project. Restoration of East Timberlake Island. Now, East Timberlake Island, when I left CPRA, it was under design. In 2017, it was completed, and nothing was done in 2017. So we're going back to the drawing board with the engineering, and as you can see, East Timberlake Island.
So they let the ball drop on that. Y'all got to re-engineer, but y'all were ready to move on that.
But we've got to, when we use some of the engineering that was already done,
good.
But you really have to get new geotech. You have to really, and we are on Wine Island and East Timberlake Island going to put segmented breakwater rocks as we start. And East Timberlake Island is actually in Lafourche Parish. There's a shot, but it's the little pass between them are right on a Lafourche Terrebonne side. So it protects Terrebonne, Lafourche, and importantly, it protects Fouchon from the westerly direction. This is probably a $300 million project, once we get it rolling. Mm-hmm. And they will have segmented breakwater rocks. We will restore it. There's a couple of islands behind it that the Letette Islands are going to be restored with it. We are going to choke down the passes. We have to narrow the passes because the passes are 5-7 times as large as they do. Little passes probably 10 times as large as it used to be. So that we're pretty aggressive on that. The CPRA is handling East Timberlake Island direct. And we've hired an engineering group, and we are moving forward on East Timberlake Island. And so let's go East Timberlake Island, and then so that's ongoing, and that was started under all what I'm showing you here is under the Jeff Landry, Governor Jeff Landry administration, CPRA since I've been there.
Now you got a pretty stout, is it somewhere around 1.8, somewhere around there?
About $1.7 billion budget.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
We've got quite a bit of budget, but we've got a lot of projects to do.
Right.
And I'm mainly showing Terrebonne, Lafourche, and then we'll show, if we have time, we'll go to the other parishes, because we have like Chandelier Island, and we're doing Rockefeller, and we're doing a lot of other islands too. But Timberlake Island, we had spent about $50 million on this when I was parish president. Mm-hmm. We are presently working on some money with FEMA from Ida. Mm-hmm. So this is ongoing, but it's some insurance. It's some FEMA monies. I'm going to go to Grand Isle just to show you. I showed you Raccoon Island how the rocks work. Yes. Okay, this is 2005, 9, and we'll keep flipping 10. Then the rocks out here, and you see how they start developing. It's just you see the rocks out there to the south. That was put in 2000, about 24 years ago. And if you go to 12, if you look to the left, you can see them starting to develop. The rocks start to develop. If you go to 2015, you can see how the island starts building out. Now this is Mother Nature building it out. Mm-hmm. If you go to 19, it slowly builds behind us. What segmented rocks do, the tides go in, they deposit, and they come back out. And if you look at post Ida, this is after Ida, and notice it didn't really bother it.
Yeah.
Now look, and if you didn't look at the next slide, post Ida, and then if you look at the next one, you see how it built out. Yeah. And then watch this. This is present day. Look how far the camps are. The water used to be almost up to those camps. Segmented breakwater rocks work. That's on. This was put 3 years ago on the west side, and look how And look, that's after Ida.
Wow.
That the rest of the beach was torn up.
Let's do this. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back with our final segment with the CPRA chairman, Gordon Dove. You see some magnificent things happening across the whole state of Louisiana. We'll be right back.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough.
All right, we're back. Final segment with CPRA Chairman, Mr. Gordon Dove. And I know you want to say something about Grand Isle real quick.
Yeah, and you know, working with David Cormandel, the mayor, the Corps of Engineers, after I was elected and got with Governor Jeff Landry, one of his priorities, out of most of these are priorities, but was to get Grand Isle where we finished the rocks, which is about 5,000 linear foot of rocks, and which is about actually about 3 miles, because it's about 3.5 miles. So between the rocks on the west and the east, we are going to place about 3.5 to 4 miles of segmented breakwater rocks. And we will be right now it's tentatively set to be under construction July of next year. They were looking at 3 or 4 years to do this project. We came in, worked with the Corps, got around some studies, and we're going to move quick.
All right, how about Port Fourchon?
Well, and that's what I was going to show. The Port of Fourchon, that he was just showing the pictures, we are putting 5.5, we're under engineering, working with Chet Chasson, of 5.5 miles of segmented breakwater rocks. We're trying to design them at a +8, and that is to protect about $4 billion worth of assets on Fourchon, not including Loop, which, as you know, operates out of Fourchon.
Yeah.
So we are going to protect Fourchon with 5.5 miles from West Bell Pass to the east, and also East Timberlake Island, which protects Fourchon, Lafourche, and Terrebonne. Imagine this, Martin, if you would have had East Timberlake Island built for Ida, instead of 15-foot tidal surge at the South Lafourche levee, you would have probably had about 11 or 10.
Right.
And we didn't have this island built.
We watched it
this is
flood
imperative we build East Timberlake Island, Wine Island, and all our islands.
Let's look at the Morganza to the Gulf, I think is next, huh? Is that right?
Okay, yeah, this is the core. The core. You know, I met with Major General Peoples and Colonel Jones, who's been working with us great. They are starting projects on Morganza to the Gulf. They are engineering a gate on the west end of Terrebonne Parish, on the east side of Miners Canal, and on the east side of Lafourche Parish. They are under design 225-foot gates that will be closed during a hurricane. That's about $450 million worth of gates. The Corps will build them. We have presently, with the money we got $468 million, and we're supposed to get another $90 million if it goes through budget this year. But every year we're going to get money.
All right.
And these gates are under engineering. This is just a typical Morganza. Very successful. A lot of people to congratulate, and attaboy and attagirl, because this held back 11 foot of water for the storm.
It's the footprint for the nation.
And actually, the Corps said this is a model of local government and state government building things, and not a Corps coming in with money. And of course, the Corps is a longer process.
Yeah.
We will continue to keep building our levees to 15 feet. This is Bayou Chene, and Bayou Chene, and now this is the lock system that's being constructed. Well, Bayou Chene, that was closed during a hurricane. The middle of that is Terrebonne and St. Mary, and Bill Hidalgo and St. Mary Levee District did a wonderful job operating it. It was closed. It held back about 4 foot of water. because the hurricane had jogged towards Terrebonne. If it had not, we liable to have had 10 foot of water against that gate, which goes straight into the Intercoastal Canal and into Terrebonne and Lafourche Parish and St. Martin and Iberia, well, St. Martin, Iberia, and St. Mary. So very important gate. And, you know, that was built, this is the, what I was telling you about, that's the ICWW West. That sector gate's being designed as we speak with the Corps of Engineers. And then there's the one east. So during the hurricane, we will close these two with the Moganza levee and South Lafourche levee and North Lafourche levee. Terrebonne and Lafourche become one under protection.
Wow, that's incredible.
That is the goal.
So let's do this. We'll wrap this show up, but I'd love to get you on to talk with a minute left. We just don't have time. Talk about the rest of the state, because you are rambling and rolling and all that, and that would be a great show, I think.
Well, boy, we have Chandelier Island, Rockefeller. We're doing Marsh Island, and you know, of course, we're doing Grand Isle, and we're doing a levee system in Iberia with floodgates. We're working with the parish president of Iberia and Vermilion, where Vermilion has a police jury president, and we're working with them to build a comprehensive levee system in Iberia and Vermilion all the way to into St. Mary Parish.
This is unprecedented that we're hearing right here. We're going public. We're going to reschedule the CPRA chairman to come on. There's a lot of big things happening. You need to really look at these folks, because look at what Florida's going through. They don't have protection. We do. We're going to keep building higher and stronger. We'll see you on the next Going Public.
So much to see on HTV. Stick with us, 'cause we're your home.